Hey everybody, it's the Hunter and me. Today we're going to be doing a refurbish of a canoe that I bought, used. It's got a couple bumps and bruises. What we're going to do is we're going to do some maintenance on it, end up putting some fiberglass down, and eventually at the end of this, you're going to see what I do to paint it. And then I'll have my brand new canoe for when hunting season comes around. Stay tuned. Alright, so today this is what we got here. We got a used canoe somebody was selling on Craigslist. $75. I don't do much fishing, I don't do much playing out in the water, but I tell you that there's a couple opportunities I have this upcoming season to use a canoe to get to my hunting spots. So today, what we have here is we're going to be using some Thompson Sealer water sealer, some Rust-Oleum Camouflage spray paint and undercoating, acetone to clean this canoe up a little bit, some fiberglass resin and patch, that way we can fix a couple bruises it's got going on, the all-important primer, which is what we're going to use to initially start our painting job here, and then you know everything you need to paint, some painter's tape and paint brushes and rollers. Now right over here you see we have essentially a 16-foot canoe. It's a hair under 16 feet, but for me, especially a spot that I'll be hunting later on this year, the only way you can get to it is access with the boat. So I bought this canoe to get me from point A to point B. Real simple, throw it in the creek and head onto the river and I'm to my spot is basically what would happen. Now if you look at the canoe, just like any used canoe, it's got a little couple scratches here, nothing major. It probably needs a little paint job. As you get to the rear here, you've noticed someone attempted to do their own little patch job. They weren't too successful, but I'm going to clean that up. And I got another scratch here, dent, and another one here. No big problem. I'm going to show you how to go ahead and do that with a little bit of fiberglass and fiberglass resin and patches. So stay tuned. Alright everyone, here we go again. Well, the first step, other than actually cleaning this canoe with a little soap and water, which I've done already, is to clean it up a little bit further and maybe even sand some spots down. Now what you want to do is I'm going to start sanding first, and I'm actually going to sand the whole canoe just to make sure there's no rough areas around or any areas that I've gone blind to that might need to have a little patching done or put a little bit of fiberglass on. Now again, this is not typically something that you have to do first, because eventually I'm going to have to sand again. But as soon as I sand, then I'm going to take this acetone, I'm going to wipe the whole canoe down, I'm going to let it dry a little bit, and then we're going to get going on the fiberglass patch. So stay tuned. Alright, so right now we got one side of this canoe sanded down, and like I said, I'm just doing this to make sure there's no other rough edges on this canoe, and then I'm going to clean it with the acetone, and then I'm going to start getting to work on it with the fiberglass. But after the fiberglass, the next step is going to be to sand it again to get any more rough edges. Now these are the spots that I'm most concerned of. Right here, there's one, there's a big crack right there, you can see it. And I got one right here at the front. Now, I've done sanded everything I need to do, and I'll go ahead and clean it up. But at some point, I'm going to have to make sure this is nice and strong just in case. Alright, so we've cleaned one side of the canoe, top to the side, and everything's looking pretty good. It was already smooth to begin with, but I wanted to just make sure that there weren't any other rough edges on the canoe before I actually cleaned it with the acetone and started laying down fiberglass. Now, here is my main issue, which we're definitely going to patch. And, you know, fiberglass. Here's another one. And then I got one right up here at the front, and we're going to do the same here. We're going to possibly put a little patch on even these two little spots up here, but this is my main concern. And the next time you see me, you'll actually be seeing me sanding the opposite side, and I'm going to be wearing a mask because, as many of you know, fiberglass is probably not the most friendly thing to put in your lungs. So I'll see you in a minute. Nice and smooth. On to the next step. Alright, so now we're just going to apply acetone straight on to where we want to go. And I'm just going to take this rag and I'm going to pour a little bit of acetone onto the canoe here. And if it runs down, it's alright. We're going to use it. We're going to wipe down what we need to wipe. We'll try to put some straight here, right on the rag. As you see, it pretty much evaporates right off the bat, but what we're doing is we're cleaning it a little bit further, getting anything crazy off of it, maybe some mildew or whatnot, but it's also going to get that surface ready to accept the fiberglass and the paint. And it's pretty simple. You just want to wipe the section down that you're cleaning. For me, it's going to be the whole boat. And some people might go, well, why on earth are you going to do the whole thing? Well, one, I just sanded the whole thing. It makes a lot more sense to go ahead and clean the whole thing than just the spot you're going to patch. So, and some people want to do that. Some people want to clean the whole boat or even sand the whole boat. But my goal is to make this thing look not just good, but to stay well maintained so I can keep using it for quite some time here. So I'm going to put a little bit of elbow grease into this and make sure it performs the way I need it to perform the next couple of years. Alright, I think she's pretty clean, and it's on to the next step, so we will turn you back on when we're ready. Alright, so what I've done here is I've turned the canoe over, and I'm getting ready to do two things here. There are some things that I want to do inside the canoe. One of which is I want to wipe the inside down too. It is fiberglass, so I want to wipe it down with the resin, and then at some point I'm going to apply a very thin coating of fiberglass just to strengthen it just a hair, and then my Rust-Oleum undercoating I'm going to use as a grip for feet. So I'm going to end up spraying a couple patches in there with that undercoating just to give us a little grip while we're in the boat there. And also, if you notice on the side of the canoe, we're starting to get some lines running from water that is collected while it's been sitting here. It's going to give me an opportunity while I'm cleaning the inside of this canoe to let that water drain out. The last thing I need after cleaning it is to have excess water come out, and then all I'll do is I'll just wipe it down the spots where the water came out and go from there. So the next time you see me, I'll probably get started here on the resin, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so we're in the applying the resin and fiberglass stage. As you see, time went by pretty quick. I had some honeydew things I had to go and run some errands for the wife. So we're back here and we're finishing up applying resin and fiberglass to the canoe. As you see, I've already done a patch job on the three major areas that we are concerned about, and basically what you need to do is you cut your fiberglass cloth to the shape and to the size that you think you may gonna need, and then you apply it onto the areas that you need. As you apply it, you want to make sure that there's a little coating underneath it of resin, and then you want to dab some of that resin on top of the cloth, soak it, let it sit for a little bit, come back and do it again and reapply. At the end of this, when everything's dry, it's going to be time to sand, and that's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to get to painting, but right now all I'm doing is I'm going over all the major spots. I'm going to work my way down. Anything that has deep cracks or anything that may concern me, I'm going to put a little bit of resin to strengthen it just enough. That way I don't have to worry about it later, and then we'll be safe and ready to go. We'll see you tomorrow. Alright, good morning everybody. It's the next day, and I got a couple hours early start this morning. So what I wanted to show you what we got here is, you can see all that bright color there. That's all the new fiberglass resin that's on there. And I have a patch here. I have a couple patches here. But what we're going to end up doing now is we're going to end up sanding everything that has color to it. And we're going to try to make it look as smooth as possible. And then the next step after that is painting. What I didn't show you yesterday is this fiberglass resin. I went ahead and I put this on the inside of the canoe, and that was just to reinforce the fiberglass on the inside. And if there's anything that I can't see, just give it a little more strength to it. I have plenty of fiberglass, but we're going to start sanding and try to get smooth this thing out, and then we're going to step to painting. All right. Well, we're all done with the last part of sanding. I'm going to go and take some acetone and go and clean it up one last time, let it dry off for a hair, and start the paint job. Alright guys, so this is the inside of the canoe. What I've done here is I put the Rust-Oleum rubberized coating down, and that's just to have a little better footing when you're in the boat. like I said earlier, what you didn't see yesterday is I did put a thin layer of fiberglass down. Now remember, this boat was used, so it needed a little TLC to it. But the plan on the inside of this boat was probably to apply some paint. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to flip this canoe over. I'm going to start painting the outside. The outside is ready to be painted, primer, and then we'll start doing camouflage pattern on it. But if I have time, I'm going to go ahead and do some painting on the inside, but we'll see. So stay tuned. Well, as you can see, I've already set the first coat of primer on the canoe, and this is my last spot here. Now, you know, like many of us, I've never done this before. And good old YouTube taught me a couple things, and some things are common sense, and some things are from experience, and other things are from, you know, people we learn from. So I picked up a couple things at YouTube, and obviously I would think a roller would be the best way to paint on the canoe. But I also have a brush. I'm going to do my second coat. I'm going to end up brushing it, and this gentleman says that there's a method called tipping that you use with the brush. So here we're rolling, obviously. And tipping, you can tip with the brush, and tip up and down with the brush. And apparently it allows that primer to sip in a little bit further to the spots that you couldn't get with the roller. We're going to give it a try. So here I am. I'm going to use somebody else's tip and see how it works for us. I'm sure it'll be fine. Sounds like a good tip. So, but as you see, we're using an almond type color here. I like it. And what I'm eventually going to do is I'm going to take camo spray paint, and I'm going to do my own little version of camo on here, but I'm also going to use some pine needles, some bamboo to help me get a different type pattern on there. A lot of places that this canoe is going to be going to has a lot of weeds, bamboo type material. We're going to use that to paint it, and you'll see it on the next step here. So we'll come back. By this evening, we'll be able to get back out here before dark and start that last paint job with the camo, and then that's it. Technically, this project is almost complete, and overall, you know, with a little bit of interruption here, you're looking at a full day of work, maybe two, but it's pretty simple. And ultimately it's going to be very rewarding. This gives me that opportunity to get out in the field, and from going to point A to point B, I will always know that there was a lot of effort to get this canoe ready, and that's part of the whole experience. Having that sense of things you do being very rewarding. It's not always about filling your tag. I always say it's about those memories and the experience, and it's true. So I'm looking forward to get plenty of memories from this canoe with my friends and my loved ones and some youngsters. And after that, everything else is extra. Alright, now we just let her sit. Alright, so we're back here and we're going to go ahead and start painting the camo. I'm going to use my Rust-Oleum camouflage paint, spray paint. I got a couple patterns cut out. What I normally do, even with my guns, I cut out these little patterns. I spray paint it one paint, kind of like this, a primer, and then I go ahead and I use camouflage paint to get the pattern that I want. But we're going to use these patterns. I'm going to come around, spray paint patterns randomly all over the canoe, and then I actually have some bamboo and pine needle that I'm going to use as a method that I've researched on YouTube. So we're going to give that a try. So when you come back, you're going to get to see what I got going on. Alright, so these are my patterns on the boat. Again, we used an almond primer to paint the canoe. And now we're going to put these patterns on. Now the next step, I'm actually going to use real leaves, real natural patterns to try to adhere it to the canoe here. So we'll see what it looks like right after this, and just stay tuned. Alright everybody, so this is the final outcome of my new hunting canoe. Not bad. It's amazing what a little bit of elbow grease can do. A little bit of imagination. Like I said before, if you got time to do it, it could take you a day to do something like this, as long as your used canoe isn't as bad as what they could be. But as you see, here are my patterns. Real simple, basic patterns. And then here are my bamboo and my pine needles. And it comes out pretty dang good, and it actually looks pretty good right on that almond. So I got a couple final touches to do, and that's about it. So hope you guys enjoyed this this little video about how to refurbish a canoe if you choose to do so. Thanks for watching The Hunter and Me.